Welcome back to another episode. Today we are talking about AI. I have heard so much about AI. People are worried that it's going to take everybody's job. People are going to lose everything. Who's going to buy everything when AI, does everything? What are humans going to do? Are we going to have a sense of purpose? So we're going to dig into all of this today, looking at some TikToks and see what people really have to say about AI.
The amount of change we're going to see over the next 5 years, 10 years, will dwarf everything that's happened over the last 30. We went from automating pen and paper, right, with spreadsheets, to connecting PCs into local area networks to, connecting people
to each
locally,
other.
Locally, right, to connecting networks to get the internet, to getting the network effect of communicating people globally. But now we're introducing artificial intelligence, machine learning, deep learning, neural networks, etc. So, and what that enables is the automation of automation. Right, and so the people who were writing software, particularly at the lower end, unless you're doing these advanced things, they're gone. Right, the people that
because the software's writing itself,
it's doing itself. Right, it's just math. Programmer back in the day. So when I was writing code, it was the algorithms were if this then that.
Right.
X or whatever it may be.
Right.
But you had to guess. Right, you had to use your best instance, and then it got smarter and smarter and smarter, and libraries to do bigger and better things. All that is being automated. And so now you have to know how to use that stuff. So either software works for you or you work for software, and once the software takes over, you're gone. Automation is being automated. You just learn the tax rules. You just feed the automation the tax rules, and it does the rest for you.
So English majors of the world should celebrate?
I think English, philosophy, foreign language majors, maybe not now, they're going to starve for a while, but that's not even the real issue, right? The real issue is if 1 million, 2 million, 3 million, 5 million people have their jobs disrupted. And we see the direction everything is going and how quickly it's going. What are you going to do with them?
Bumble is firing 30% of their workforce. Dropbox fired 20% last year. IBM cut 9,000 jobs. JP Morgan and Chase is expecting to cut 10%. Microsoft cut 15,000 jobs. And Business Insider is cutting 21%, all to adopt AI into their companies. The Ford CEO, Jim Farley, says AI is going to cut white-collar jobs in half. Anthropic's CEO says unemployment could spike to 20%. We are living in a time in the US where the president wants everyone to work to earn things like healthcare, education, and food, while we are actively on the precipice of most people not having to work. Amazon just deployed their 1 millionth robot in a fulfillment center. Automation can be good, so long as we also include universal healthcare and universal basic income. Because otherwise, where is the money going? How do people buy things if robots do the jobs? As much as a billionaire's greed is insatiable, they quite literally cannot have it all. Because like Monopoly and the entire point of the game, when you own everything, you own nothing. The game is over. Nothing has value anymore.
Here's the thing. I've used AI a lot, and I have a couple of opinions on this. Number one, when Mark Cuban says that the programming, it's going to be automated and it's going to do everything itself, we're not there yet. I've built apps in Lovable, or tried to build apps in Lovable. If you don't understand programming, you cannot build an app in Lovable. You can't just go to Lovable and say, build an app that does this, and it will do all of it itself and read your mind and understand exactly what you're trying to accomplish. And that's kind of what the Mark Cuban piece is selling you on, it's just automated. You can just do it yourself. The people who do well on Lovable are the people who understand programming. The Lovable is a very smart program, or Replit, or one of these, right? So if you go there with a ton of detail, it's going to give you something really robust. But if you're an amateur like myself, I don't have coding background, it's not going to give you a solid app because you're not giving it enough detail. And that's what people are missing. Right now, I can build something very simple that probably doesn't work. And when you try to fix that one thing, it's going to mess something else up. So you have to be very, very intentional about the words you're using. Replit and Lovable, they're not going to tell you that you need to be very specific. They're just going to say, just build it with words. That's not how it works.
Here are the top 5 jobs that could be replaced by AI by 2030, according to the World Economic Forum. This is part 2. I listed 10 through 6 yesterday, so make sure you go back and check that out. If any one of these jobs is yours, let me know in the comments, because 3 has me worried that I might want to start looking for a new career myself. You're also going to get a percentage of the likelihood that the job is completely replaced by 2030. And coming in at number 5 is a legal assistant contract reviewer with the 55% chance of being replaced by 2030. With tools like Lexis Plus AI that can summarize and review legal contracts, entry-level legal assistants are already going by the wayside. Coming in at number 4 with a 58% chance of being replaced is going to be a graphic designer. With tools like Adobe Firefly and Canva AI, graphic designing with high quality images has never been easier, making it so graphic designers aren't really necessary anymore. And coming in at number 3 with a 60% chance of being replaced by AI, and this one hurts a little bit, is a financial analyst. Right now, AI can review financials, summarize reports, and make forecasts based on all of the reports put out by companies, therefore making financial analysts just a little less important in 2030. And coming in at number 2 with the 63% chance of being replaced, and this should surprise nobody, a customer service representative. With ChatGPT 4 and Zendesk AI now being mainstream and usable for most businesses, accuracy and quality has gone up significantly because of resources like this, making customer service representatives almost obsolete. And coming in at number 1 with the 65% chance of being replaced is a junior software developer. Right now, AI is able to write code, modify code, and fix bugs a lot quicker than humans are, therefore completely eliminating the need for junior software developers. If any one of those jobs were yours, let me know in the comments. Like and follow if you want more lists like this.
And also a lot of these companies that are like, oh yeah, we're replacing you with AI. Like AI can't think. What people don't understand is that AI, ChatGPT, whatever, they're LLMs. When you type something in, it predicts the next word that you want to see or that you're expecting to see in that sequence, right? So if you ask it to do something for you, it's not going to think about how to best do it. It's just going to do it based on feedback from prior version of that. So when Mark Cuban says like, oh, you just feed it the tax software, it's like, yes, it can process tax software based on what you did last year for your tax return. AI cannot handle nuance. If you ask me to do your taxes for you, link in bio, I'm going to ask you a lot of questions. Do you have kids? Did you switch jobs? How many W-2s do you have? How many 1099s do you have, right? If you ask ChatGPT or an AI model, hey, do my taxes for you, you're just going to say, of course, and then start doing the taxes without asking you any questions. And that's the thing. AI works based on input. It's not smart. It doesn't think. It just does. And that is the problem with AI right now. I can't speak for how it's going to be in like 10 years, probably way better, or in 5 years or in 3 years. But right now, it can do very simple tasks. And honestly, I hate calling like American Express. They have this AI bot that's like, hey, what is your name? I hate talking to them. I just press 0 over and over again until I get to the operator. Sorry, but I do not want to talk to an AI customer service.
Thousands of tech workers are losing their jobs and the numbers keep rising. Now, according to TechCrunch, Amazon had over 100 layoffs from Alexa, Echo, Ring, and etc. Microsoft had over 6,500 job cuts. Now that's 3% of their global staff. Chegg laid off around 248 of its employees. Now that's around 22% of their workforce. Match Group, including Henge and Tinder, laid off around 325 of their employees, and that's roughly around 13% of their workforce. And CrowdStrike laid off around 500 of their employees, and that's around 5% of their workforce. These tech players are making huge structural changes. And throughout the whole year of 2025, there has been over 50,000 tech layoffs, and it's only May. So you might be wondering, what is driving this? Well, it's not only AI and automation. It's also cost-cutting, slower growth forecasts, and investor pressure. Some of it is about automation, but some of it is also about boosting profits. And while tech keeps evolving, thousands of people are getting left behind. The future of work is here, but it's not totally safe. Do you think tech companies should be held more accountable? Drop your thoughts down below and follow for more tech updates.
You cannot convince me that they are not offshoring jobs, white-collar jobs, under the guise of AI inefficiency. Not only are they offshoring, but they're just increasing the workload of their current employees. To me right now, AI just seems to be like the latest buzzword that's getting investors excited. It's like major corporate CEOs have just banded together to like create this narrative surrounding AI. And they want people to be concerned. But I genuinely think it's so that people can be okay with the scraps that they give. Scraps in benefits, scraps in pay, and just make you work harder for less. And it's not to say that AI is not a threat, but it's not a threat to the extent at which they are saying that it is. And I think it's very strategic.
Back in May, we were hearing the song that about 40% of companies have done some sort of layoff due to AI. In that same time frame, over 50% of those companies were saying, look, maybe that was too soon. But based off of some current reports that are coming out, we've seen about 10,000 layoffs that can actually be attributed to AI and automation. Then we have total job loss numbers of about 800,000. So when we look at that, that's really only about 1.2% of layoffs that can actually be attributed to AI as opposed to what companies are saying. And most of that seems to be happening in the tech industry, which to me sounds a little bit like a scapegoat. People are propping up the technology to be able to do more than it actually can. And when push comes to shove, they regret it. Because when they're implementing AI and doing it fast and sloppy, they're not getting the type of returns that they were hoping for, and they are not able to save the FTE that they envisioned when they first made the investment. Or they cut staff for other reasons and they tried to make it up with automation and found out that they couldn't. It's not to say that there won't be shifting and disruption that happens from AI. I don't think that true attribution towards AI and job loss, the way it's being reported in some headlines, is actually accurate. There's a lot of other dynamics, and AI is an easy place to point the finger.
Years ago, I worked for a fashion company, and we had a store in LA. They wanted to get rid of the store manager, but California has very strict employment laws. It's harder to fire people compared to like New York City, but they wanted to get rid of her. So there happened to be fraud in the store, and they used that as an excuse to get rid of her because their whole thing was, oh, well, you're the manager and you should have caught the fraud. She didn't catch the fraud. That gave the company an excuse to fire her. So they were able to fire her without any repercussions. That's how I see AI. A lot of companies, they want to fire people. They can fire people. Like Facebook could fire their engineers, no problem, but they don't want the backlash. So what they say now is like, well, it's AI and we got to be more efficient and, we don't want to be left behind. So they're saying that they're firing people because of AI. And I also think that a lot of these companies are working together. Like Facebook wants to create AI. So it has to come out and say, we were able to fire engineers because of AI. Why wouldn't they do that? Because if they say, listen, we fired half our workforce because of AI, that's just going to increase the value of their AI. The Anthropic CEO, the guy who owns Claude, he did the same thing. He was on an interview and was like, well, we fired so many people because of AI. I don't think they did. I think they're using it as an excuse to just fire people because they want to be more profitable. What you need to understand is CEOs and CFOs, how they get their bonuses and stock options and all these things is based on performance. So the CEO, he might get like, all right, profit needs to be above this number for you to get your full bonus. Okay, if revenue isn't high, the only thing that he can do is to cut costs. How do you cut costs? What is the biggest expense in any company's P&L? It is labor, workers, it is wages, salaries, hourly wages. They are the highest cost for any company. I don't care what company you work for, labor is going to be the highest cost. If he just fires a bunch of people, he gets his bonus. Same thing with CFOs. They're judged based on profitability. You and me, we're based on like, oh, did you finish this project on time? Okay, whatever. CFOs and CEOs are based on profitability. That is the number that matters. So that's all they care about. So when you see them firing people, it's not just because of AI. I'm telling you, AI is not that smart. It's smart. It can do a lot of things, but it's an LLM. It just predicts words. It can't think. It's not intelligent. So I'm an accountant, and I've spoken to so many accountants, like the old school, the unks, and they used to tell me that when Excel came out in the 80s, they all thought they were losing their jobs. But it's not true. It's like the saying goes, Excel is not going to replace you. It's people using Excel that are going to replace you. Would you hire an accountant who did everything by pen and paper? I wouldn't. Using pen and paper now is suicide. You cannot do anything with pen and paper. You need Excel. You're dependent on it. Same thing with AI. A lot of people will disagree with me, but I think that AI will not replace you. I think someone using AI will replace you. AI will replace certain tasks, just like Excel replaced certain tasks. Excel has automated a lot of stuff, but it hasn't automated away every single accountant and consultant and person who uses Excel.
Last night, I made a video talking about the government's recently released 30-page plan for AI and what it means for your career. And so in this one, I kind of wanted to talk about specific career paths that you should be looking at if you want to work in this space, or if you're in college and you want to understand what aid or resources may be coming your way. So specifically, I wanted to focus on these 5 roles. And so I'm sure you know about prompt engineering. I'm not going to spend too much time there. And honestly, I think this will become more of a capability than a specific role. I think, some people today are getting hired as prompt engineers, but I think in all roles, knowing how to prompt effectively is going to be a good skill. And right now, actually, Anthropic has a really good, I think this is a free course on prompt engineering as well that I definitely check out. Another thing, AI research scientist. And so in this plan, actually, the National Science Foundation, the Department of Education, they're actually going to be starting labs and research hubs specifically to evaluate the effect of AI and to grow our own homegrown US based models as well. And so I think I know there's going to be a lot of funding, a lot of effort on that. And so definitely if you're on more of the research and science side of this, definitely be on the lookout. I think a lot of resources are coming that way. Cybersecurity is going to be huge. Anytime you're investing in infrastructure and in building of more technology, you also have to make sure that is safe and secure. And so every cyber job is going to have some AI capability, but there are also going to be roles like this, cyber threat intelligence analysts that are going to be specifically focused on AI. So I think that's going to be pretty cool. On the government side, or on the civic side, I'm really excited about this one role of being sort of a civic technologist. Specifically in the US, our government has proven time and time again that the AI or just the general tech literacy of people working in government is so low. It's so terrible. And so I am excited for more governments, hopefully, to be investing in people like this. So these are people who know AI, know its effects, know how to integrate it into industries, but also know how to integrate it well into a civil population. So these are people that work in city and state governments, the federal government as well, to just create education pathways for people to learn about AI, but also to adopt it as well, just to bump up the general tech use, I guess, across the US. And then lastly, AI curriculum designers. And so this is the one that I think I'm most excited about. I think all throughout school, right? Starting in middle school up to, master's, PhD programs. I think people who can take AI, especially the more technical, advanced, hard to understand concepts, and break that down into something that's easy to digest into an actual curriculum are going to be in huge demand, especially as some of these school systems, state school systems, public school systems, and private schools seek to embed AI into their core curriculum. So again, this isn't all the jobs that AI will create, but there's a lot of doom and gloom about it. So I wanted to make a quick little video as an update to a video that I made last night, actually 10 o'clock, about 5 roles in AI that I think are going to be pretty important moving forward.
I just think that AI is going to be this massively super important tool, and we got to learn how to use it. So how can we prepare? The first thing you got to focus on is figure out a skill set that uses AI. Something that you can do is learn AI and sell it to businesses, because businesses need it. In fact, a lot of businesses are not using AI because they don't know. They don't know how to use it. They don't know where to start. They don't know what tools, nothing. If you're sitting here thinking oh, N8N, you can use this, you can use Claude, you're way ahead of the curve. So you need to figure out a way in this new economy to profit off of this inevitability that every single major corporation is pushing for. Also, it seems like the current administration is all in on AI. I would read the report that he mentioned in the video, America's AI Action Plan. Just read it back to back. And I would also make sure that you stay on top of the news, see what they're talking about, and then think how can I start a business from this? How can I capitalize on this? You want to be left behind? I don't. So you got to make sure that you stay on top of it. Just like crypto. In 2013, I was very oh, who cares about crypto? It's a scam. Dude, look at it now. Everything is up. Yeah, it goes up and down. But if you had just invested 10 years ago, imagine where you would be now. I'm telling you, now is the perfect time to really invest your time in learning something new. Educate yourself on AI, on all the tools, learn as much as you can. You don't have to party every single weekend. Just stay at home and just learn all of these tools. And I promise you, it's going to go much better for you. Instead of being left behind, you're going to be in front.